how to qualify prospects fast so that you don't waste your time. Now, this is a question I get asked through my coaching and consulting business all the time. And for those of you guys that don't know me, my name's Dan. I've been in the agency space for over 10 years now. I've scaled multiple successful agencies, and I've also worked with 150 agency owners to help them see the same results that I have. And in this video, I'm going to be addressing something that gets asked every single day. Why should I qualify prospects, and how should I qualify prospects so that I don't end up wasting my time? And if that is you, then make sure you stay tuned on this video, because I'm going to be walking through absolutely everything that you need to do to be able to qualify a prospect properly. So first of all, let's look at when and why. So when, I'm going to have a bit of a controversial opinion here. I personally don't think you should be qualifying prospects in too much detail until you're about 5K a month. And the reason why, 5 to 10K a month, you're just gaining experience, okay? You're just trying to find your feet, get as many clients as possible, not necessarily charge your 5-figure retainers or even 5K retainers, whatever. So I would say if you're just starting out and you're watching this video and you just want to have a little bit better quality, take some of these questions, but you don't need to do absolutely everything that I teach you until you get further down the line. It would be much more beneficial for you to jump on as many sales calls as possible and get the experience, and perhaps even downsell, cross-sell, or drop service, something like that. So that's a when. If you're at 5 to 10K a month and you're looking to really increase that quality, then this video is for you. Or if you're over 10K, then it's definitely for you. Then, why should we do this? Well, realistically, is to save time, okay? You want to be able to see your business as something that you can work on and scale. And the problem with having a diary full, but if it's shit leads, then you're essentially going to waste your time or your closer's time or your SDR's time, whatever it is. And realistically, you need to get to the point where every single call in your diary is qualified, is going to show up, is going to be a great conversation. Regardless of whether you close or not, you just want to feel good about having that conversation. Because I think one of the biggest misconceptions about qualifying prospects is that they have to close. And that's not necessarily it, right? Like, having a good quality sales call and you're unable to close, that's okay. That means your funnel is working. That means your approach is working, but you just didn't get them over the line. If you are struggling with closing, I recommend watching, either the videos inside Client Capital if you're a member. And if you're not, then I would say on my YouTube video, I have actually broken down a great closing framework that you guys can use and take and close loads of deals. So let's jump straight into the video. Now, first of all, we need to reduce unqualified calls before they're even booked. So these are the types of questions that we ask on a landing page. You can do this on a Calendly, you can do it on a type form. I'm seeing type forms being a lot more popular nowadays, so feel free to try that, whether that's GHL calendar, whatever it is, right? But these are the types of questions that we use. So first of all, a budget question. Are you in a position to invest in your service if you see a good fit, okay? Now, again, this is for an inbound system. This is not for outbound. You're not going to drive them to a landing page and then just ask them all of this. They're not warmed up enough. But when they come for an inbound system, there's more intent. It means that they're going to be more likely to spend some money. Revenue range. I always like this question. And the reason why I put if relevant, it really does depend on your messaging, your targeting, the way that you're getting these prospects in. But what's your current monthly revenue? I love to have an understanding before the call, because that normally kind of gives me a bit of an understanding. Okay, is it going to be a 5K retainer, or is it going to be a 5-figure retainer where I'm going to do a full infrastructure build out and really kind of remap them a new offer, let's just say. Goal-based question. What would success look like in the next 90 days? I think that's a good one, because the reason why is if they fill it out and they fill it out like a quite decent amount, I'm going, that's a prospect that's actually quite serious, right? If they just put NA or make money or scale my business or blah, 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 we know that they're not that serious. So that straight away gives me a bit of a red flag. And then I'm going to get my appointment setter to really press on that, okay? Commitment check. I always like to know if I'm speaking to the decision maker of the business. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste my closer's time. And you can also use conditional logic to disqualify people who select like no budget or not ready, depending on whether you use a type form. Type form, if you pay about £50 a month, you can integrate it really nicely with conditional logic. If you want to know more about that, my co-founder Zub, he also has a YouTube channel. Feel free to check that out. I will link it below in the description. He's a lot more technical than I am, especially on the setting up side of things. So yeah, make sure you check those videos out. I then talk about the setting call. Now the setting call, obviously I can do a full video for you guys on how to do a really good setting call, but I use the Bant stack, right? Personally, I don't do any setting calls anymore, but my team, they use the Bant stack. So budget, authority, need, timing, okay? These are the 4 pillars that you realistically need to be able to make sure that that prospect is qualified, okay? So budget, what have you allocated to solving this problem? Authority, are you the only one making the decision? What happens if this problem doesn't get solved, okay? So it's like a consequence action questioning, let's just say. And timing, how soon do you want to see this change? So these 4 questions are really good. Now you might be thinking watching this video, Dan, I'm already asking some of these questions up here. Why are we asking them again? Well, because people fill out forms wrong, right? Once you start spending, 1K a day on ads, let's just say, right? You will start to see that as your volume increases, you will see a load of leads just pop in anything in these forms just to get, that strategy call or that lead magnet or whatever it is, okay? So you've got to make sure that you really do kind of prioritize that on the setting call. Red flags, okay? Now, this is a bit of a tip for you guys. Whether it's a setting call or a closing call, I want you guys to really trust your gut instinct a little bit, because I think for the majority of you guys that are doing 10K a month, you likely have closed a bunch of deals now, and you will start to spot red flags, okay? Don't talk yourself into a bad lead. So if they're giving vague answers, they're filling out a form like really small, they're asking for discounts or pushing on price before even understanding the value, they're saying just, I'm exploring, I'm gathering information, just cut it there. If you really think that you're going to be pushing that lead consistently just to get a couple of grand out of them, you'd be better off retargeting and finding an alternative lead, okay? So again, if you're at the early stages of your business, don't do that. You want to have the experience, get them on a call, try and cross-sell them, downsell them. But if you are really trying to qualify your prospects now, honestly, you see a red flag, just exit the building. Look for pain, not just interest, right? So obviously this is on the closing call. We are not going through a full closing call script right now, but I just wanted to kind of really, touch on this, right? Look for pain, not just interest, okay? Interest is nice, pain is profitable, okay? So what's the cost of staying where you are for another 3 to 6 months? If they can't describe a real consequence, it's a low quality lead. We're looking for that pain point, we match it with a viable solution. We're then not even pitching, we're just doing a matching process, right? That is gonna help you close more deals, but also qualify more prospects. So whenever you're doing a closing call and you notice, 10 minutes in, you're doing your goals or your consequence action questioning, and they're not giving you this information, they don't want to talk, they don't want to build that rapport with you, they're a bit on edge, just cut it. Honestly, cut it, or explain to them like you don't think you're going to be able to help them, and explain to them why, right? That is how you're going to really kind of qualify these leads. And then use scarcity ethically, okay? So a lot of people say, oh yeah, we only work with a certain amount of people, right? And there is some truth in that for some businesses, but it's really important to actually emphasize this properly, okay? So make sure that you tell them this, that you only take on X amount of clients, or so we only onboard X amount of clients per month to keep results high. I'm happy to walk through this, but only if it makes sense on both sides, okay? So make them lean in. You're not desperate. To be a really good salesman, whether you're qualifying a lead, closing a lead, you need to make sure that you're making them lean in and you're not pushing it onto them, okay? Desperation loses sales. And one last thing I will say on desperation, and it's not even relevant to this video, but I think it's worth doing. A lot of people, when they put like a payment link in the chat or trying to collect payment, they lose composure. Make sure that you remain composure there, because that is something that can really lose deals. And this is good practice, okay? So make sure that you're using scarcity ethically. It's gonna help you. So just to kind of summarize really quickly, guys, this is a shorter video, but you're gonna reduce unqualified leads before they're even booked. You're gonna use the Bant stack incorporated into your setting call. You're gonna spot red flags, right? And you're gonna use them as exit signs. You're gonna look for pain, not interest, and you're gonna use scarcity ethically by mentioning the clients that you work with on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. I hope this video helped. If you want me to do a little bit more in terms of breaking down my setting script for my team, I'd be more than happy to put something together. Just comment below setting, or give us the setting script. I'll be more than happy to do that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.